This map and the resulting dashboard is an example of decolonising maps, focusing on shifting the power dynamics towards a more academic, representative, and sort of a wider societal perspective. And in doing so, this sort of portrays a more accurate image and story. This dashboard focuses on a 5-year estimate from 2017 to 2022 of data census. And it looks at the United States at state, county, and tract level. Now, there's two different data censuses which are brought together. First being extreme household income, where this looks at the percentage of households making more than $200,000 annually, as well as looking at households which make 25,000 and below annually. And it also, the second data census it looks at is the sort of the race and ethnicity of the total population of the US. So we're now live in the main dashboard, and you can see it split into four main key areas. Firstly, just pointing out on the base map, I've chosen to go with a dark grey base map reference canvas, just because I want to see the labels more clearly when zooming in and out of the county, state, and tract centroids, and also just the other base maps. Quite a lot of the roads and sort of infrastructure they have on the map sort of gets in the way of what I'm trying to display. But the user does have an option to click on and change the base map if they want to sort of go into more detail about certain areas of the United States. So now looking across sort of the dashboard legend, again it's split into the two data census of extreme household income at the top, and then we've got the race slash ethnicity or Hispanic origin variables at the bottom. So firstly, sort of looking at how the data is represented for the extreme household income. This is for the $200,000 annually. If there's a greater, as you can see, if there's a greater circle or greater glow, it shows as there's a greater percentage of households in that particular area which is making more than $200,000 annually, and this is sort of vice versa for the $25,000, where households are making less than $25,000. So the greater glow, greater area of the circle shows that there's a greater percentage of households making less than $25,000 annually. And looking to the other variable, so this is split into different predominant categories of the areas, and split into different colours and different categories. And it's also split into the transparency ratio. So sort of less transparent, or more transparent. The strength of the predominance in that area is less, but they obviously is still dominant. Obviously, the greater, the darker the colour, the stronger the predominance in that area. So now looking into the more interactive side of the map and what actually the data shows. So when the user first logs into the dashboard, they will be faced with the map here, and a search bar where they can find an address or a place. In order to make the map interactive, there's a zoom in and a zoom out button in the bottom right corner here. Before we actually zoom in and out and show you the pop-ups, I think it's important to explain what the different gauges mean on the side here. So the first one is the white alone total population, and the one below is the black or African American whole total population. And they both disregard Hispanic or Latino ethnic slash race groups. So at the moment we can see that the United States is split into different states, and as we zoom in, the states would then turn into the counties, and as you zoom in on the side here on the gauges, they're interactive. So that's basically showing that at that particular map at the particular moment, that's the total population of either white or black ethnic groups. So let's pick a random location. I'm going to pick Memphis down here because it looks interesting. So if we zoom into Memphis here, you can see again it changes from sort of again from the state to county Then from county to tract level, a tract is just a large area incorporating households. So I'm going to pick a random tract and go with this one here. And as you click on it, a pop-up appears. The first line is basically the location of what it is. So it's a census tract 78.10 in Shelby County, Tennessee. And it basically shows what's the most common race / ethnicity in that area. And it's saying that's black. And the data is below here as well. So you can see that in that particular area, there's 2,182 people who are black or African American. And again, there's only 2 people who are Asian alone. If we want to go across to the extreme household income in that area, we can see, well, straight away we can see it's a very impoverished area. The x-axis demonstrates sort of the income bands, which are split into 5,000 ranges. So you can see, obviously, the first bar chart here, bar graph here, households whose income in the past 12 months was less than $10,000. There's a total of 238 households. And obviously, as you go up, the household income changes. And this particular example, there are 0 households who have an income of $200,000 or more. Let's pick another example. So I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to pick a good example of Brooklyn to show you disparities between household income. So as we zoom in here, Brownsville is an example of a very impoverished area of Brooklyn. But if we zoom into the main area of Brooklyn, we can see that if we click on here again, it shows that the most common race / ethnicity is white. But again, it's important to show that it's a very affluent area. It says that there are 1,339 households which have a annual household income of $200,000 or more dollars. 54% of that particular tract area. I think it's now important to draw conclusions from this. So underneath this tutorial of the working dashboard, I'm going to draw some conclusions to see the difference between and incorporating between the extreme household income versus the ethnicity / race groups.